Good morning, everybody. I'm Paul Lisnick. Taman is off this week. Coming up on the WGN-TV Political Report. We begin today here in Illinois as the state battles a resurgence of COVID-19 cases. Leaders are looking for a remedy to the financial fallout. This week, Governor J.B. Pritzker warning massive budget cuts could be on the horizon unless the federal government comes through with billions in relief funds.
I mean, this will be painful. Extraordinarily painful, and for a federal government that wants, as we all do, to limit the unemployment damage that's been done across the nation. I mean, really 50 states of layoffs of not just state government workers. It would be layoffs of all the people who sell services and supplies to state government. It would be so many people who do ancillary work in private industry that is beneficial to state government. There would be layoffs really across the board.
So far, that federal funding has failed to materialize, and it's not just state governments that are depending on Congress for help. Millions of Americans are waiting to find out if they will get another stimulus check as the pandemic continues to stall economic growth. The debate over who needs money, how much, is once again falling along party lines. Congressman Brad Schneider represents Illinois' 10th district, covering parts of the northern and northeast suburbs of Chicago, joining us this morning to talk about what's next. Congressman, good to see you.
Paul, it's so good to see you. I hope you're well.
I am. Thank you, and you as well. So the U.S. economy last month added 1.8 million jobs. The unemployment rate down to just over 10%. Stock market is healthy. I guess things are turning around.
Well, you know, we can talk about the economy. I was thrilled to see that we added 1.8 million jobs. But if you dig a little bit deeper, those jobs were really people coming back to jobs they had been laid off from, jobs they already had. These aren't new jobs. And we're still at 10.2% unemployment. The economy is still hurting. So to anyone to think that we've got this behind us is painfully mistaken. The virus is still spreading. People are still getting infected. The economy is still hurting. And we need action by Congress. The House passed a bill in May. We need the Senate to join us and act.
So we know there's several points of disagreement between the parties. Democrats want to keep giving people $600 a week. Republicans say, look, some of those people are making more money when you give them $600 than they were making when they were working. So they don't want to go back to work. Is that a legitimate argument? And where does this argument go towards reaching an agreement?
So sure, and I understand, you know, intuitively that makes sense. But if you look at the studies, the data just doesn't back it up. We don't have the ability to work with a scalpel here. We're in a crisis. We have never seen a job loss like this, the economic downturn. The economy shrank 33% on an annualized basis last quarter. That's unprecedented. So we need swift and bold action. And there'll be some people, I'm sure, that will get a windfall, but we have to focus on the people who are suffering, people who are trying to pay their rent, pay for food, pay for medicine. These are people who are struggling day in and day out, and without help from the federal government, they're not going to make it. Small businesses aren't going to make it, and our local and state governments are going to struggle as well.
So I think we'd agree. Republicans are good at sending out a message, right? And so while Democrats are saying, look, we're the ones that wanted you to keep having $600 a week, Republicans send the message out, which is we offered to do a short-term, at one time, 1-week extension, and the Democrats wouldn't even hear of it. Is that a strong argument for Republicans who send that out saying it's the Democrats who wouldn't extend it?
You know, I think it's a hollow argument by the Republicans. The House passed the HEROES Act on May 15th. That was 12 weeks ago today. We're looking at a situation that is not slow moving. It has, at this point, it's happening so fast. Again, last quarter, the economy shrunk by 33%. We need swift and bold actions. We don't need temporary measures. We don't need short-term 1-week measures. People literally are hanging on by their fingernails. They're trying to make it. Not day to day, week to week. They want to know that they have a long-term ability to get through this crisis, and that's what Congress needs to do. And that's what I'm hoping the government will act on.
Are you hearing about that pain in your district as well?
Oh, for sure. I was at a drive-through job fair yesterday. There were people coming in, looking for work, trying to get anything to help pay their bills. I've been visiting with folks in my district. I've been to Fox Lake, Waukegan, North Chicago, other communities, Glencoe, talking to business owners, and they're all struggling. Very few people are finding that this is a time for growth. They've had to lay off workers or cut back hours, or many employers are taking the hit and paying their workers, but taking the loss themselves.
So the president has put a lot of attention this past week as well on mail-in voting, as you know. He first took the position that mail-in voting has got to go, can't do it anywhere. Well, maybe Florida. Maybe that's a good place. My question is, let me take the politics out of that for a moment. Number one, how does Illinois look with regard to mail-in voting? And number two, what do you think of the arguments? Because Trump supporters now stand behind him. Can't have mail-in voting. It's terrible.
Right. I mean, let's look at the facts. Mail-in voting doesn't favor one party or another. We had a special election in California. The Republican won that election. That was exclusively mail-in ballots. We've been doing mail-in ballots in Washington, Oregon, Colorado, Utah, Hawaii. And to a great extent, we've been increasing the number of people who use the vote from home option in Illinois. We've been doing it for a while. I'm very confident in Illinois we have the capacity to handle it. But across the country, start with the idea that our elections are fundamental to our democracy, that core to those elections is the confidence that everyone who is a citizen can be certain that they can cast their vote and they can cast it safely, not to have the fear of a health risk, that their vote will be counted and that the outcome of the election is something that they can trust. Again, the HEROES Act passed 12 weeks ago today, had $3.6 billion of resources for our states to ensure the election security. We need the administration, we need the Senate to join us in acting to secure our elections.
So related to the power of mail-in voting, of course, are the current problems going on with the post office. And the Trump-appointed Postmaster General apparently trying to save money. Things seem to be slowing down in the post office. There was a time when people thought it was the president going after, he didn't like Jeff Bezos and he wasn't getting great, costs from the post office. And now people say, wait a minute, maybe this is about mail-in voting. Maybe this is about clogging up the system when that comes around. What's your view of the problems with the post office, and what is Congress going to do about it?
Well, again, HEROES Act, we had $25 billion for the post office. We need to make sure the post office has the resources they need to deliver the mail on a daily basis. This is something people rely on for their medicine. They rely on for their correspondence packages. Many of the online purchases bought, whether pick a provider, that last mile is delivered by the post office. So the post office is crucial. And you highlighted a couple of reasons why the president might want to undermine the post office. He doesn't like Amazon or Jeff Bezos. He's worried about the election turning out or turning against him. Or in this case, now the new Postmaster General may have a financial interest in competitors to the post office. Pick any of those three, they're all awful. Post office is actually older than our nation. They've been with us for our entire history. We need a post office. We need a good, efficient, effective post office. And that's why Congress has to step up and put the money to make sure that we can have safe and fair elections, but also a post office that can weather further storms.
And of course, something else currently going on, census data gathering is going on. The Trump administration announcing they're going to cut off the gathering a month earlier than was supposed to happen. What are the implications of doing that, and how concerned are you about it, and can you do anything about it?
I'm really concerned, and we've been talking about this long before the census started this year. We've been actively and aggressively promoting everyone getting counted. The census, which was established in our Constitution 243 years ago, is something that is critical to our congressional allocation. Illinois has lost a seat in each of the redistrictings since the 1950s. We had 24, we're down to 18. If we don't have an accurate count, we could lose not one seat, but 2 seats. But it's not just the apportionment of those congressional seats, it's the allocation of federal dollars. And our communities, that it's our roads, it's our hospitals, our funds for first responders, education funds, all of that is calculated based on a census. If we don't have an accurate count, we won't get our fair share. So it's important that everyone get counted. It is easy and safe to do. You can go to 2020census.gov and complete it online. You can do it when they call you on the phone or knock on your door, but please, let's get everyone counted.
All right, Congressman, hang with me. We're going to take our first break. Still to come on this half hour of WGN-TV Political Report.
Every one of the women we've interviewed is qualified, and I've narrowed it down.
With the convention around the corner, the former vice president looks for his own right-hand woman. But first, suing the NRA, a legal threat to dissolve the powerful pro-gun group. We'll finish our conversation with Congressman Brad Schneider when we come back.